Good morning, traders. Welcome to your NQ pre-market prep on 128. We're going to jump in and take a look at this 1 hour chart. Thought I'd start this stream a little early, see if we can gather up anybody into the chat and have any questions. I'm just going to give it a few more minutes here and see before I dive into the chart. Kind of got a lot to discuss with NQ. If anybody's live with me, throw me a message in the chat. Let me know that you can hear me fine, that the mic's okay, and that you're not lagging too bad. Alright, so let's jump into the 1 hour. The 1 hour chart. Okay, so here we have the NQ 1 hour chart. Some things that we need to point out obviously are over here right now we're trading at about 320. We got this 1 hour overhead trend line that's red right here. We're butting right up against. Now, if you've been following any of these pre-market preps in the past, you can see we finally broke above all these areas of resistance we had kept talking about that we needed to get past. So now that we are, here's what I'm thinking the game plan for today is going to be, maybe for the rest of the week, to see what we're dealing with here. So I'm going to try to zoom this chart in a little so we can see better on this area down here. Okay, so this green line right here is sort of the line in the sand right now. Now that we've broke everything to the left, let's say that they want to drop this back some. We need to try to protect about 120 to 125, 120 to 130. This whole area down here as far as a pullback. Now, as far as a second line in the sand, we're going to go with down here where this golden pivot is. We do need to protect this area right at the golden pivot. Say they could break this area of the 120, 130 area. We need to, the golden pivot is at 22. So say from 26,000 to 26,030, we need to protect that area as the next line in the sand to the downside. Preferably this top one, because that's where we finally broke above all this to the left, all this resistance back here, all the way back here, all this here. It was a struggle to get up through that area, so you know it wouldn't be uncommon to see a pullback down into that area. That would be fine, but we need to try to bounce there. Now, as far as to the upside, we still have this little area right here and right here. This purple line is the all-time high. So we have to think that right in here where I got these precision entry zones, we're going to drop this down to the 15-minute real quick. It might be better, easier to look at that way. Alright, so to the upside, this first box is 500 to 510, where we might find some pretty good rejection. And then we have about, say, 560 to 570. And then we have the R3 pivot at 581. Okay, so those are areas to the upside that I would be taking into account maybe for a short play or maybe for it could be where they turn it around and draw it back down to the downside, bleed it off instead of going for the all-time high. Now, I also have a measured move out on where I think we're going to go. I do think that we're going to take out the all-time high, which is around 655 or something like that. I think we're going to take that out, and the measured move is going to be 980. The measured move is 980, but the box is from 980 to 700 because of the whole number situation. You know, you could get a first reaction short up in this area, but it being a whole number and all-time high, you could expect them to sweep this area. You know, 10, 15, maybe even 30 points before a good rejection. You really never know till it gets up there. That's just the way it behaves sometimes in the past. But anyhow, keep that number in mind, 980 to 700. That's the measured move off of the larger time frame trend line. So I'm going to be keeping that in mind. I think that they're going to try to put in an all-time high. You would think, after everything they've done to drive this up, back to the upside and break all that resistance, that they would try to put in a new all-time high, because it's only, you know, excuse me, 300 points away or however much. It ain't a lot. Even though we got these imbalance zones down here that need to be filled, it seems that they would be trying to put in a new all-time high before returning back down to, say, this imbalance zone here is from like 720 to about 800. This one down here is from about 300 to 420, and so on, you know. So we have a 1 hour trend line up here, this green line that's holding tight, or 15 minute. You can call it 15, and then this is the 1 hour, and then this down here is a 4 hour or daily. You know, I mean, that's what we're looking at as far as NQ goes, and we really need to protect these two spots here that I went over. We don't need them to break. Now that we have taken out those highs to the left, it's pretty important that we protect those. I mean, that we are back into bullish territory as far as structure and bias and everything else. I mean, taking all this out. So, you know, if we can take out that high, that's break of structure continuation, and there's really no telling where it'll go. But I think that measured move would be a good place to start up there close to 27,000. With that said, let's hop over and take a look at gold real quick, see if we can run down on that. The contracts on gold are trying to roll over on NinjaTrader for the last 2 or 3 days. I keep going back to the February contract because TradingView does not roll over till tomorrow, and I need all my pricing to line up when I'm looking at the two. So I'm keeping my contract on February until TradingView rolls over, because I know so many people trade from TradingView. That way we're all on the same page. Of course, gold has been making, it's been making its moves. Looks like we need to put in a line up here for another all-time high that it put in. I'll switch that to purple from here on out. Right now, anyway, any purple lines will be all-time highs on my charts. They were yellow, but I lost my charts that I had so many drawings on, so I'm rebuilding one day at a time for the most part. So that'll be all-time high on gold. Alright, so this is the 1 hour, and looks like we got a little rejection here off of this R2 pivot. Got pretty close there. Rejection. We're sitting on top of the R1 pivot. Golden pivot is at 125. You see we got this 1 hour trend line here. That golden pivot, you know, come over and tag this trend line sometime today. And so, you know, if we can get a pullback to that golden pivot and that trend line, I'll be looking for a long play there. We got this structure right here just under the golden pivot. So it could sweep that golden pivot, try to tag this structure where it broke out. And then so you might be thinking around 100 or just below 100 if we get that kind of pullback. But gold's way up there, so I don't know if we should expect getting a pullback like that right now. It could happen though. You just never know. And then we also have imbalance there in the 1 hour. Let me make these bars a little smaller. They're all mashed together. I can't bar width 12. What in the world? Let's say, what's it look like on 3? That's better. Alright, so let's grab us a box real quick. Let's say region. So right here we're going to have bullish imbalance on the 1 hour. Golden pivot sits in it. We got a trend line. This is all confluence as far as, you know, if we could get a pullback into this area. This could be one of the more deals that gold moves kind of slow. Say they get down in this area here and they make a hard drop and suck it straight back up. Gold's been making some moves like that lately. And, you know, tag that golden pivot, or they'll wick down to the bottom of this imbalance zone and wick this trend line and then just suck right back up pretty fast. I've seen several plays like that in gold as of recently. Something to watch for. As far as upside, you don't want to try to fight gold. The worst thing to do is try to short the top of gold, or it's really short the top of anything, but gold, I mean, is just something, is a beast. As soon as you think everything is, all the indicators are pointing to, oh, it's overbought, it needs to cool off, you know, and then all of a sudden it'll trade sideways, barcode, indicators will drain all the way off, and you'll think you're trying to short it, and then it'll just go another 30 points the opposite direction against you. So don't be trying to guess the tops of gold. You need to wait until gold says, you know what, I'm exhausted. Wait for the right breakdown moments. Breaks of structures lined in with maybe sell signals, kill zone, being down past the 50-yard line, or the zero yard line on the kill zone, or 50, whatever you want to call it. But it needs to be, everything needs to be positioned right, and if it's not, you just need to hold tight on gold and really put a game plan together. If you're trading the minis, for sure. I've been trading the micros on everything for the most part. On some of my bigger accounts, I'll take the minis, but I've been focusing on some of the smaller accounts on micros. So, and you can make a decent amount of money rotating them accounts, trading micros on either one if you take your time and take the right trades. You're not looking for home runs, looking for base hits, because for me a home run is taking a payout. So home run don't mean I made a certain amount of home runs ain't my daily P&L. Home runs are taking payouts in my eyes. I think people should think that way instead of thinking, oh, I'm going to hit a home run today because you can give a home run back tomorrow. The home run, the grand slam, that should always be the payout. And then everything else in between is just noise. Rotate them accounts, hit them base hits, move on to the next one. So let's move down to the 15-minute here real quick on gold. The system's still moving slow today. This is why I hadn't been able to get my system up and running, because of the storm we had. And it's been moving real slow on me this morning, so I'm not sure how well this is going to work out today. So on a 15-minute, I mean, it's just, it all looks the same to me, regardless of the time frame. I'm gonna looking sort of at trading view as well on gold. I just you gotta be careful with these plays. Right here we're sitting on the R1 pivot. The ATR is really low. It's pre-market though, but gold's kind of been stair-stepping, so you just got to watch out for these stair steps. I think gold might keep trying to go up today. We'll see. The thing is I'm pretty sure that the rollover contract is quite a bit higher than where we're sitting at now. Let's check it. Gold and April contract. We're at 252 right now. And the gold contract is the April contract is at 290. We're about 40, 50 points above where we're at in this contract. So tomorrow, finally, trading view and most everything else should be rolled over. So maybe we'll have a definitive, but you need to keep in mind that double check what that April contract looks like if you're on the February. But until trading view rolls over, I'm going to keep mine on February. I think that's all I'm going to have for pre-market prep today, guys. I hope it helps. I will see you guys in Discord as long as my system stays up. And y'all stay sharp, stay safe, be patient, sit on your hands, and let them trades come to you and hit them base hits. All right, you guys have a great trading day.